lot of people don't have or will never have the opportunities I had from day one, and I still have today.
Yeah.
So life is unfair in the sense that, we want to get to a world where everyone has equal opportunity, not equal results, equal opportunity. And what you make of that opportunity is up to you. But I'm in my echo chamber. Okay? So I try and avoid Daily Maverick. It's a bit anti-business. And I love business, pro-business. Okay? And I'm in my echo chamber. Everyone's in the echo chamber. The lefties are doing, CNN and the other 15, 16, 18 million don't. Answer? Elon Musk. Starlink. Boom.
Yeah.
And, that's BEE nonsense. Elon's just not going to put Starlink in South Africa and give someone 30%. Bullshit.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the Posties podcast.
Sheesh! That's the best intro. I'm sorry, Alex. That's the best intro.
I've been defeated already. Timber, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I want to say hello to the Posties family.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing.
Yes, sir.
We made a promise to you guys
Oh, man.
that we're going to give you bigger and better guests. Alex, please introduce us while we're here at beautiful Zuni's.
Timber, it's like you're trying to make jokes because you're making an alliteration thing going on, right? Bigger, better.
I rap sometimes.
Another B.
Sometimes.
You guys are setting me up.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the face behind the country's movement. If I had to say so myself, we're talking about business mogul, we're talking about media mogul, we're talking about lifestyle mogul, we're talking about rock star.
I love that, baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that thing. How's that go?
Come.
Like that?
Got it?
Yeah. It's almost
I'll get it. I'll get it, man.
Yeah.
He's a part of the Posties crew.
So guys, ask me anything.
Right.
Far away.
No holds barred.
No holds barred.
Timber, go first.
The first question I wanted to ask, because I wanted to break the ice, but to settle nicely. You know
Go
what I'm
deep.
saying?
Go deep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if you find it deep or not. But if you were a chess piece, what chess piece best describes you?
Wow. I love chess, and that's a great question.
That's good.
A little bit of research done there.
So, I don't want to be queen or king.
Okay.
So I think I've got to be a knight.
Okay.
Because a knight doesn't move up and down diagonally. A knight goes 2 forward, 1 left, backwards, forwards. And I think in life, if you can pivot, if you can be flexible, if you can not go too far ahead, but stay connected with life on the ground, with other people, but be able to pivot, I'm the knight.
I love that.
But I don't mind whether I'm black or white.
Clarity is clear to see.
It doesn't matter who moves first. It doesn't matter who moves
I
first.
know.
A knight is interesting because from my experience of chess, it's not great. It helps with the setup, comes in for the rescue sometimes. And I'm trying to find out if that's something you already resonate to. Do you like that rescue? Do you like that setup? What's your story?
So, I love chess. Played it all my life. And at age 8, I beat my father, my grandfather.
Wow.
And so I always thought this was my game.
Yeah.
And then my second son, Luke, who's now 25, when he was 16, he beat me for the first time.
Wow.
So he's got the mantle.
Yeah.
Passing the torch, exactly.
Yes.
So, setting up the board, life's not like that.
Yeah.
Because life's not like, black and white, one moves first, everything's equal on the board. It's the most equal game in the world. The only difference between you and the competitor is somebody moves first. Otherwise, it's equal. And life's not like that.
The funny thing is, everyone always says life is like chess. And now you're like, well, not really.
Not really. Yeah.
Well, just because of the different advantages that you have, white moves first, and that's no pun intended.
And a lot of people don't have, or will never have, the opportunities I had from day one, and I still have today.
Yeah.
So life is unfair in the sense that, we want to get to a world where everyone has equal opportunity, not equal result, equal opportunity. And what you make of that opportunity
That's up to you.
is up to you. But that's not chess.
But I love how you touched a little bit about a little bit of your background there. Like I wanted to get into like having a family business like Anglophile back in the day, and like growing up in that. How do you think that actually like molded you as a person?
Yeah.
So, positives and the negatives. The positives, I grew up with never worrying about the next meal or never worrying about anything really. I was just trying to do the best in life. And a lot of other people who had similar wealth and opportunities have not done much with their lives.
Yeah.
Because that's the negative about it, You feel like, okay, I've got this safety net.
I'm okay.
I'm not going to try it.
Comfort.
To me, it was the opposite. I've got a safety net. Let's just try as hard as I can and everything I can because I can always fall back on the safety net.
Yeah.
And so it's given me huge motivation. And I think I've failed in many things, but it's given me the chance to absolutely try. Not everything yet.
Yeah.
You're going to ask me what haven't I done, but try a lot of things. And I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know what I'm good at. I know the many things I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And I'm at an age of 64. Where I'm
64 years young. 64 years young.
At some point, I'm going to work out what I'm going to do with my life.
But I love how you touched a little bit on the process there, and like, would you say it's nurture or nature? Were you born with it, or did your circumstances kind of like push you onto, I've gotten this, but I want to take it to the next level?
Because you really don't have to,
Yeah.
and you
I don't
tend to
have to
step
do
out a
any-
lot, sometimes to your detriment.
I don't have to do anything. So I shouldn't tell you this, okay?
Hey, please do.
You should never have a Springbok rugby game on a Sunday night. Sunday nights for going to bed early.
Fact.
I went to a Scottish friend's house, Bright-Place. Buddies of mine, Springbok shirts, him in his Scottish shirt.
Is this yesterday?
Last night.
Okay.
And he said to me, I'm not drinking at the moment.
Yeah.
But he said, you've got to try this brandy.
Yeah. I'm the big one you got.
So he gave me, I had about 4 brandies. And then things went pear-shaped.
Of course.
And the reason I'm not on
course.
Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram is because I'd be dead by now.
Yeah.
I would say something, and I'd be assassinated. I would have pissed someone off. And last night I was on this business channel.
Yeah.
And I just got pissed off, and I was in a fired-up mood. And I got into this name calling.
Jeez.
And eventually I went night-night and went to sleep. This morning I woke up with a hangover.
A mess.
And I saw in that thing, thank goodness the foul-mouthed brat went to bed. And I was like, that's me.
It could have gone anywhere now.
Regrets,
That's
regrets.
the thing. I wouldn't say it's the first time that you sort of find yourself in trouble with perception of society or whatever. And it goes back to that lack of fear that you have to, first of all, say what you think. It gets all of us sometimes. My girlfriend doesn't like it when I say something like that, but you have to say it.
But you learn.
But you learn. Yeah. And it's like, why do you continue doing that? There's obviously people behind you, I'm assuming, being like, don't say that. Like, chill.
My wife.
Yes, sir.
So,
One person.
4 nights ago, Wednesday night, I was sitting at my desk, open plan house, sitting at my desk, working hard. And she could see me, focused.
Yeah.
And she wandered up, and I was didn't have time to flip my notes over. And she walked up and she could see Trump, Harris, this is the night after the election.
Okay.
And I was going on Biz News. And she said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just doing some homework. She said, are you going on Biz News? I said, yes, tomorrow morning. And she said, on the election?
Yeah.
I went, yeah. She said, please don't, please.
Okay.
Can I ask you? And I went, no. I wanted to do it. And, my poor wife, she sees this coming. Anyway, it went live, and 4 days later,
crazy.
it's 115,000 views in 4 days.
Wow.
So maybe this can go 200,000.
Let's do it.
But I got to
Let's
say
do it
some
one
wild
time.
stuff to get there.
I mean, why not? Because first of all, you felt like you had something to say.
Yeah.
Right? And you felt like people needed to hear it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say what that was?
No, I just, I always felt Trump would be a better president than Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And for 10, 15 years, okay, it's been really hard for people like me, not me, but people like me to say anything public and political. Because the left just says, you're racist, you're a misogynist, you're
Cancelled,
anti-green, cancel.
Yeah.
And the tide has been turning and turning and turning.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are still scared.
Yeah.
And the reason I knew Trump was going to win was because a lot of people asked, who do you think will win? I don't know, not sure I'm going to vote for. Or they say Harris. And you know, a lot of them are telling it nonsense.
Exactly.
They're going to vote Trump. And I just knew Trump was going to win. Knew it. Because
And
a lot of people
landslide.
wouldn't admit to it.
No,
Because they just felt this woke, ESG, DEI, blah, blah, blah. Great words. Black Lives Matter. Great acronym. You know, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Great acronym. But the reality is, I hate to say, those are racist, socialist, and leftist. The actual implementation of those are terrible, destructive. They don't work. And that's so the world is swinging away from that, anti-woke. So I knew Trump was going.
With those trends, when did you see it as it might be tending a little bit anti-woke now? What do you think the trigger was for it swimming into like the woke movement?
Went too far left.
It's way too far left.
Market
And the
redirected.
world always does this. You know, the pendulum swings, everyone's like, it's a good thing, it's a good thing, it's good, and then it goes too far. And then people turn it into cancel culture, aggression, racism,
All the bad
fascism. The left are fascist.
things.
The right are more gentle. You know, it's swung the other way.
It's crazy because I was listening to someone speak recently, and they're like, the right are now the new rebels. You know?
Yeah, we're the rebels, guys.
100%.
The right are the new rebels. Because back in the day, it would be the hippie guys and the free guys, and they'd be the ones who'd be the rebellious
all
ones,
the way.
away from where most people are.
100%.
But now most people are this way, and if you're right, you end up being outside.
And they call the right fascist, but actually the right are more centrist. And the left has gone so far left.
What are those right principles? What are they?
It's conservatism. And by the way, the majority of South Africans are Christian, conservative, you know,
hilarious.
don't want change too quickly. And, you know, they want stability and that's what the right represents. Because the left is like completely out of control.
They want shifts really radically in no amount of time.
And in this country, the social cohesion is actually way stronger than you think. It's not it's not a racist country. I really don't believe it is. I think people actually getting on well and working together, and the politicians who want to stir things up create this stuff and say, oh, racist, but it actually isn't really. You know, people want a majority of people of all colours want the same thing. They want a job, peace and security, to work together, to be, you know, have their children have a better life than themselves. The vast majority. They don't want Julius.
They want stability.
They really don't. You know?
It's radical because it's scary too. Like, why would you want all of those things when Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic ones, aren't even covered yet?
Correct. And to get there, we need one thing: economic growth. And everyone goes, oh, trickle down doesn't work. It does.
It does.
You know, if we make our country investable, and foreigners stay to say, okay, we like South Africa, we're going to invest. They then start flying back and forward, and they hire local taxi drivers, they stay in our hotels, they eat, you know, they hire people. The country lifts. It's that basic. And you know, the ANC in the last 10 years have been chasing investors away. It was a crazy shit.
I think speaking about investment there, I actually wanted to touch on, because your passion for South Africa and Africa on a global scale is very evident to see. So how do you think that like propagates into Invest Africa on your side?
Well, I just sold my last stake in Invest Africa.
Really?
I don't own it anymore.
Okay.
Only because it's other people now to take it on. You know, I loved it. But,
It's time.
I'm also tired of traveling. You know, all my life, every day I've been flying somewhere.
setting.
Now I just want to like stay here.
I wanted to look at it at a macro perspective, right? Because you're involved in media somewhat, and as an individual, you also have your own individual voice. Now, we're discussing left, right, and the directions that tend to get pushed. And most of the times, the ideas that are pushed into each direction are pushed through media. Now, that synergy between your own individual voice and the voice that goes through media, right? You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about that.
So where the world is right now, you know, it's gone from, let's talk America. It used to be ABC, CBS, NBC. That was it. That's where you got your news. Then Fox came in.
It was back in the day.
And Fox had a look and went, they're all center left. There's big space on the right. Diving in. Boom.
Business.
And then multi-channel television came in, and I was heavily involved in that in America and Europe. You know, we were looking at cat channel, dog channel, like where's it going? And then internet came. And then social media arrived. And where the world is today is, you know, I never look at SABC ever,
Yeah.
unless there's a sports game. I haven't looked at SABC News for.
Years.
Probably years now.
Yeah.
But I follow podcasters I like, and you can imagine who they are.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, Dave Shapiro, they're all centre-right, conservative.
Yeah.
And Bill Maher. Bill Maher has suddenly become a centrist. You know, I've kind of like, wow, he used to be really left, he's in the centre, I'll follow him. And Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Like, he's a lunatic.
Very recent.
He's actually quite
Yeah.
interesting, he's balanced.
Transition.
But I'm in my echo chamber. Okay? So I try and avoid Daily Maverick. It's a bit anti-business.
Okay.
And I love business, pro-business. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm in my echo chamber. Everyone's in the echo chamber. The lefties are doing, you know, CNN and MSN, very left-wing, and you get your information in your echo chamber, which is wrong.
Which is very
I should try and follow a couple of lefty organizations.
just to see.
But I just don't know which ones. And they're not funny. The lefties are cancel
Don
culture.
Lemon, yeah.
So all the stand-up comedians
There's
are
no space
righties.
for them there.
They're all the
Yeah,
funny ones. So
righties.
the lefties have no sense of humor.
But now, because I'm like, as
I
a
love
media-
David Carr. My favorite, David Carr.
Shout out
Love
David
him.
Carr.
It's fine.
Yeah. And Sivan Gessi.
Sim Gessi,
How cool is that?
Yeah, 100%. He's actually really fun.
He's better looking as a man, though. Sorry, Sam.
Fair opinion.
I've heard that one before.
But he's a good paddle player.
Yeah? Have you played with him before? I have. Is it good?
Playing with him tomorrow.
Okay.
We should run a game. I'll teach you a few things.
Let's do it, baby. You want to play tomorrow?
Let's do it. When?
12, 2:30 to 4:30.
2:30.
In an Americano.
Let's do it. An Americano. Just because you'll need the energy afterwards.
I'm like, listen, but I've lost 12 kilos.
Oh, no.
So I'm hot faster than that. So don't
Nah.
underestimate me.
Guys, the competitive nature is coming out here for real.
That's how it goes.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Let's chase. So I wanted to just stay on that media and opinion voice, right? In America, we've obviously gone to the point where we see that business so much influences the messaging that gets out. You brought up how the creation of the different channels, you're putting a face.
Well, I'm not entirely convinced, but keep going.
Okay. Because I was going to say now, the business influence on the things that are discussed on the platforms, and I wanted to interpolate that onto Africa. How is our economy? How's our society? Because it's so clear and obvious to see with them. Like they've made it such an easy game to be able to see. And with us, it's a bit more obscure. So I wanted to take a peek behind the veil a little bit. How does it work in South Africa? How does our news sort of
So internet connectivity. Who has it in South Africa? The metros, the middle class, the aspirationals,
Not the vast majority.
No, of the 60 million South Africans, let's assume 30 million adults, probably 25.
Well, it depends if you...
And of the adults, how many of those 25 million have, unlimited Wi-Fi or at least access to whatever they want?
5%.
I was going to
Right,
say,
so let's say, let's say
10
let's
max.
be generous and say 10%.
Yeah.
So that's 2 million people. And the other 15, 16, 18 million don't. Answer? Elon Musk. Starlink.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And, that's BEE nonsense. Elon's just not going to put Starlink to South Africa and give someone 30%. Bullshit.
Okay.
He's going to.
Okay.
And-
Is that how it's going to work if he does it?
By the way, they're changing the rules. Starlink's coming.
Wow.
So what happens in the, in the poorer areas, and villages, towns, people that haven't had, they're going to have it.
Yeah. The Starlink's like a box. You put it down.
and then you have internet, which is such a resource to have for anyone in any
then
demographic.
you no longer rely just on SABC. Then you have access to the world. And it's not just news, media, information, it's education.
Yeah.
If you're a kid that doesn't have money for food every day, and it's a long journey to school, and you skip school, or you're a teenage girl and you have every month, the girl issues, and you skip school and your education is not in good shape, here's the answer.
Yeah.
Homeschooling. And it's going to just be the greatest thing ever. And I think that will shift people's perspectives. It will be a big thing for South Africa.
It'll change Africa. It'll change South Africa by crazy degrees, just depending on the way he puts it, who gets to have
And
it.
people will experiment. They'll play games and do silly stuff. And then there'll be the curious ones will say, well, hang on, what is capitalism and socialism? Let's find out. What is Russia doing in Ukraine?
Exactly. And then you can actually build your perspective and your opinions on actually what's happening in the world.
100%.
So you spoke about Elon coming in, and obviously encountering a few barriers to entry. You know what I'm saying?
That's a mild way to put PE.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon he's a cool cat.
Yeah, genius.
I mean, people go, oh, I don't like him.
Why?
So my wife's, okay. She's from New Zealand.
Okay.
Her dad, my father-in-law, who's the greatest dad in the world,
Yeah.
was the top lawyer for the medical profession. And he had 4 daughters, 2 doctors, 2 lawyers. 3 of the daughters married nice New Zealand lawyers. And one married a capitalist.
Walks in a row.
This guy. This guy.
I know, can you imagine the horror?
Yeah.
And I was on holiday with them 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
In Fiji, New Zealand. And the one daughter, I mentioned Elon Musk, she said, oh, terrible man.
You.
I said, why? Because he supports Trump. I said, hold on, put the Trump thing aside. He's created PayPal, Starlink, Tesla, SpaceX. He's the richest business person on the planet. How unbelievably cool is that? Amazing. I mean, you've got to at least give him that. No.
Come on.
And just the screens dropped down.
Isn't that interesting?
I mean,
Isn't that interesting? That's how a lot of people just like, there's a barrier to how they can perceive someone.
I know. Can't you look? And Trump, would I like to have dinner with him? No. I don't actually think he's particularly my guy.
Yeah.
But I said to my wife, just look past him at the policies, who's around him, and what he's going to achieve. And that's where the American voters did. They said, okay, Trump's kind of, some like him, some don't.
It's kind of sus, but he gets things done.
But look what he's promised to do. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Can I ask you something? Say 5 nice things about Kamala.
Kamala. Okay, I think she's legitimately a good person.
Okay.
I think she actually wants the right things for the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's kind. I'm going to run out of. I don't know if I get 5.
2 more.
I said 5 is so far away.
I'm a bull in this.
She's like a 5.5 out of 10 attractive. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's it.
Strokes,
That's, I can't do anymore.
Each strokes.
I can't do anymore. That's
Okay.
2.5.
I'm gonna challenge you now.
Yeah.
Give me at least 2.5 for Julius.
He's intelligent. I've met him.
Oh, word.
He's super intelligent. He's high energy dynamic. And
that's how it
I
is.
actually don't think he really is a racist, communist, fascist lunatic. I think he thinks the only way to get elected is to occupy that space. But he's so far down the line, that's his reality.
He has to die on the hill.
Yeah. But I actually think if you asked him if he couldn't live in South Africa where he lived, it'd be a Western country.
Yeah.
He'd live in London or south of France or south of Spain.
I think you and him share a bit of similarities.
Me and
I'd
him.
say. Like the high energy. Hey! Well, the high energy, the level of intelligence.
I beat him in a cage fight.
Oh, really? You
I
think so?
could destroy him.
You
He's
trained.
20 years younger than me. You wouldn't see it coming.
But now you see tactics have to
Hello,
go into
hey, weet nie, wat ek weet nie. Hey, weet nie wat ek weet nie.
This is into the party, guys.
Strickers will train me. Strickers will train me.
But I love how we've touched on politics a little bit now. And we spoke, sorry guys.
Hey, a long time.
It's okay.
Literally.
Just keep
Where
rolling.
you need to be. Where you need to be.
keep
No,
rolling.
this is the place I need to be.
Zuni.
Always
Zuni.
Zuni's
Zuni's,
Posties
yeah.
By the way, the best meat in the country.
I agree.
The best burgers.
I agree.
And Jabo is
Yeah.
based here. He's the coolest cat in the planet.
Jabu.
He's blushing behind the
I
camera.
love Jabu.
They did win Burger in the year, Burger of the Year in a
This
year
year.
of
Yeah.
existing.
This
So
year. And this year they literally won Burger Joint of the Year.
Burger Joint of the Year as well.
Shout out.
I think that was part Jabu. That was also part Jabu.
100%. But I was
Shout out Jabu.
Shout out Jabu all the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch a little bit more on the political side of it because we've spoken about how South Africa is quite conservative
Yeah.
and pushing the boundaries, whether it's socialism or whatnot, may not get the results here.
I think you're right.
Where do you see a prominent short-term future for us going?
So, you know, I've started writing articles and speaking about capitalism works, socialism doesn't. But it's not going to resonate deep enough, you know, into the country for people to say, I don't know what he's talking about.
Was that
He's
the
born
title?
rich. I mean, what, you know, why should he? I'm the wrong
Or are you
spokesman.
going to title it that, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've written some articles and done a few
Yeah.
recently, but you know, people go, well, he's rich. He would say they wouldn't he? And they're right. I would. I've seen it in action. So I'm not the right spokesman for that. It needs to be someone else. It needs to be you.
Jabu's going to do it. Jabu's going to do it. Yeah.
So what should I be speaking about? At this point, the election's over, the GNU's in place, it's the best option we had. Where's it going to go? I got some views on it.
Yeah.
I think we're fine for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We've got to get economic growth, otherwise GNU will fail.
Yeah.
But what should I be talking about? Maybe nothing. Maybe I should just shut up for a while.
I don't agree.
I would you have too much to say.
Well, what should I say? Why don't I ask you
Tell us
guys?
everything. Because interesting enough, this idea of the GNU, you've had a similar idea in the past, right?
Yes.
Where
Trying to get everyone together.
Parties.
Exactly.
So like that already is an idea that you could have been discussing, and now it's been
Correct.
come to fruition.
Correct.
Now there's also knowledge of business. There's knowledge of we're gonna get there, giving the homies some ideas. But just to stick on that GNU and your version of it, what's the difference between what we currently have and how you would have implemented something like that?
So I was trying to do a GNU without the ANC.
Yeah. You meant
But
specifically.
it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what MK got from nothing, 15%,
Yeah.
and where ANC dropped to 41, you add those two together, it's 56. They would have won.
Yeah.
And the DA went from 21 to 22. Action SA 0, Musi Mamani 0, ZB 0, Gayton 0 to 3. It wouldn't. What I was trying to pull together would not have worked. Okay. So, yeah. So, well done, Cyril and Enoch, and
But you obviously had an idea when you excluded certain parties and you excluded certain people. What is the idea to protect?
well, just try and get the sort of centre-right, conservative, pro-capitalist, pro-democracy guys together. But the country's not quite ready for that.
Hot take. I think capitalism is actually one of the basic ways that humans interact when it comes to trading.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
The townships are the most it's more capitalist than Joburg and Cape Town.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there.
Every day we're
Starting
on-
businesses, creating shit, buying, selling, saying, I don't need a license, I'm going to build businesses.
Exactly. See
I
where I'm
mean,
going, yeah.
Africa is naturally capitalist.
I think it's the word that triggers me.
Yeah. And also, the structures aren't in place for these amazing entrepreneurs to get to the next level, to build big, scalable, perpetually successful businesses. Because take the rest of Africa. In Tanzania, the minute you get to a certain size, the previous government, Magufuli, would tax you. Oh, you're now worth 50 million. We're going to tax you. So there was like a disincentive to build a scalable business. Let me stay under the radar.
Yeah.
And in the townships, you've got unbelievable entrepreneurs. I mean, I'm so impressed.
True.
But they don't want licenses. They go like, well, what? I'm not paying tax.
It's a barrier to entry.
I mean, the government gives me nothing. They give me water and electricity. I have to do it all myself.
Yeah.
So why should I bother?
Yeah.
But if you empower those people, if you give title deeds to people that have lived in a tiny shack for 3 generations, give them a title deed. They should own the land.
Exactly.
Why isn't that happening?
Okay.
That's a whole nother discussion.
That's
for part 2.
Yeah, that's for part 2. We're loading it up.
But I came back to South Africa, brought my New Zealand wife, and I was not going to invest, not going to say anything political. That went out the window. But she is in love with this country.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't want to leave.
We appreciate her.
She digs this country.
Yeah.
She loves it, and then somebody's dog gets hit by a cobra. She's like, it's like Africa's not for pussies,
Bags.
But the people are, I'm so impressed with people I meet. You guys, Jabu, etc., etc., etc. The talent here is ridiculous.
It's stupid.
And Gayton, there's a joke. It came out of Drickus. Like Drickus may be the number 1 in the world, but he's number 4 in Benoni. Which is a great joke, but it's true.
It's true.
If you had the talent in the townships, the small towns, the villages, coming into sports business, this country would win everything.
100%.
But everything. I mean, look at our music and art talent alone.
100%.
Yeah. Tyler winning awards just last night. But
So-
I want to take you a little bit back in time and get what you think were the biggest influences when you were living in New York and starting at Goldman Sachs.
All business people. Politically, it was Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
I would say that, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Two. But they were big disruptors. Ronald Reagan was an actor. No one believed in him.
Yeah.
And he was a great communicator. And
Trendsetter.
he cracked Russia. He's like, we're going to nail you. And Russia collapsed. Margaret Thatcher took a destroyed country and economy, cracked the unions, and let the thing take off like a rocket. So they were my political influences. The rest were business people. You know, people like Rupert Murdoch, Johann Rupert, and the equivalents of that era. And today it's Elon Musk and people like that. You know, I look at business people and say, we should build statues about business people, not politicians from 200 years ago. I mean, come on.
If you think about it,
The
they're
Ghanaian
creating
president.
jobs.
Those should be our heroes.
Yeah, they're creating jobs all the
Yeah.
time. They're building. All these things.
And from nothing. Now, some business people born with wealth have a better opportunity.
Yeah.
But Steve Jobs wasn't.
Yeah.
And look what he
100%,
created.
100%.
Elon wasn't. Look what he created.
No,
So Jabu, billionaire in the making.
come through.
Come on, baby.
Come through, Jabulino.
Come on.
It's funny because the Ghanaian president recently erected a statue of himself because of an ongoing project that he hasn't completed yet.
I like
but
it.
Interesting question though. I want to get back because you clearly love business people as a business person yourself, influenced by them, and you see the value for them. Do you think we should have more leaders in society in general who come from the business life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Gayton Mackenzie came from jail and then came from business.
Okay.
And he said to me, this is before he got elected as minister, and he said, you know, I'm taking so much shit here, I might just go back to business. I don't need this. And that's what you want, is someone that doesn't need to be a politician. Because then they don't need to steal, be corrupt, stuff things up. You know, they go in and say, right, I'll give you a good example. Mteto Nyati, Dan Marakane. You know who they are?
Yeah.
They're chairman and CEO of ESCOM for 2 years. People say to me, well, how come load shedding's all of a sudden disappeared? Thinking like an ANC conspiracy theory. I said, no. 3 reasons. 1, the economy's not growing very much, so it was not a huge pressure. 2, we've introduced a ton of solar and wind, which has reduced the pressure. But the real answer is chairman and CEO of ESCOM, both black business guys, have in 2 years done an incredible job. They've fired a lot of the cadres. They've refocused on coal-powered fuel stations. They've kicked production and distribution back into gear in 2 years.
Yeah.
These are heroes. I mean,
100%.
and there are more and more and more of them, you know? Not only white guys, there are tons and tons of all-colored South Africans doing incredible businesses. And those are the real heroes.
What characteristics do you look for in someone that you're trying to get into business with?
To hire or to be a partner?
Both.
Okay. To be a partner, someone who's going to do all the work and I don't have to do any.
Fair.
So
We're
Nick
smart.
Ferguson.
You've already done all the work.
Nick Ferguson, Stafford Marzi, I can name quite a few. These are the Mike Lum, you know, Craig Stanley, Hans Osling. These are guys. Let's start this business, and they do all the work, and they're cleverer than me. And I sit back and go, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And then hiring people, I like people who have a natural ability to sell. Because what is sales? It's enthusiasm, dynamism, energy, confidence. And I like salespeople because whatever business you have, you know, there are lots of finance guys you can hire, engineers, you know, good engineer. But somebody that moves the needle is somebody that gets up in the morning and says, this is my product, this is my company, I'm going to go and bring in customers.
Do something with it.
Those are the people I love.
No matter what.
And not so much PR and marketing, but sales. You know, like go and eat a piece of metal and then go and sell stuff.
One-on-one, I'm selling you this ice
And there's
block.
so
I
many
know
talented
what-
people I meet
Yeah.
that aren't in sales. And I say to them, you should be in sales. And they go, I don't think you're a salesman. I go, it's the greatest skill on the planet.
I agree.
I agree too.
And AI is not going to replace
Nothing.
creative sales.
AI is known to sell windows.
Correct.
You think there isn't an algorithm someone
You sell a
can
window.
cook up to
Hey,
sell?
you have a window. Buy this new window that you don't really need.
I love it.
But
I
now,
love AI.
but now say in every language
And
you
every other
know,
language.
because
How does the language
it's through
convince
AI.
me, bro?
So
AI
you
is
know,
scary, man.
what happened in the Industrial Revolution?
Yes.
Mainly Britain was the, you know, guys in Liverpool and Manchester build businesses, exporting to the world, made wealth beyond their wildest dreams. And they, all of a sudden, had time on their hands, like I do. But they didn't sit in a rocking chair and lie on the beach.
Yeah.
That's when all the sports were invented. Rugby, cricket, skiing. The Brits invented all the sport. And these guys were called gentlemen of leisure. But gentlemen of leisure didn't lie on the beach. They backed expeditions. They backed scientists to discover new things. So, all these boats going out and exploring the Antarctic and the Arctic were funded by these wealthy philanthropists.
Business ventures at the end of the day.
And being outside.
And you're right, they were business ventures. And many of them gave the developments and breakthroughs to man and womankind and humankind. But they were incredible philanthropists. Their money went to make the world a better place.
Speaking of the Industrial Revolution, you can
go for it.
I was going to say, speaking of the Industrial Revolution, clearly something is happening in 2024. AI is accelerated.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So the internet created something extraordinary, and mobile phones. But everyone's going, AI, do we fear it or do we welcome it? AI is not going to replace humanity.
Yeah.
There's no way.
To what extent?
Yeah.
It'll
Surely
replace...
something is going to happen in real life to some.
No, it's going to make the world a better place. It's going to make people generally infinitely richer, and infinitely richer not just in money, but in ability to do things, education, understanding, simplify things, shorten the time to do things.
Yeah.
And there will be more and more and more people with time on their hands.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Those are the people, having made money, time on their hands, who will do incredible things. So Gates and Buffett created the Giving Foundation, where you give a third of your wealth when you die to charity. The first African to sign, South African, Patrice Motsepe.
Oh, wow.
I mean, shout out to Patrice.
Yeah. Big shout out. Big shout out.
So with immense wealth comes responsibility, and to do great things.
Yes.
And I think it's going to make the world a much better place.
So,
I'm one of the 8% of the world that thinks today is the best day the world's ever had.
I agree.
And tomorrow's even better. I'm the optimist.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to have that mentality to be able to keep pushing. Yeah.
There's three optimists, bro. Someone stop us.
There's not many of us. There's not many of us.
Everyone's so sad and depressed and just waiting for the world to explode. It's like, guys, it's your tomorrow. Do something with it.
And every day, if you believe what I believe, that 98% of humanity want a better life for themselves and everyone else, and just want peace, security, and given a chance. Okay? There are people all over the world, not just Silicon Valley anymore, inventing, creating, developing incredible stuff for the betterment of humanity and themselves. If they make money in the process, good for them. If you guys if you overtake MacG and become the biggest podcast in America, and sponsors are diving all over you, you deserve it. You deserve it.
I'd say
Email post used to be what?
It was, we're coming for you, MacG.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I think we're in such a good place in this world. And I think South Africa is trending in the right direction. I just, I worry a little bit about MK, and I worry a little bit about stuff going on, but in reality, the majority of South Africans and voters are not stupid. They want the good stuff, and we just need to communicate the good stuff better.
So, as a businessman, surely you've used some sort of AI solutions and the different things that are happening in your life, right? Well, we will do it for you. We will do it for you. We will do it for you.
So this is completely random.
Okay.
There's something that interests me.
Sure.
So I'm told that all the young people being born today are going to live to 150.
Let's do it.
Because of these breakthrough drugs and
medicines.
medicines.
Not to die, but shout out, 150 is close enough.
But whatever, 200 or 200, whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens to marriages? Let's not talk about that. What happens to families?
Exactly.
So there's a matriarch or patriarch with 7 generations of... is that a corporation of the future? Is that a company? What is it?
Interesting question.
Yeah?
On that note,
I haven't worked it out yet. I haven't asked AI.
ChatGPT next.
Exactly.
Family office of
I like how you spoke about a family of that size becoming a corporation. You yourself work in a family where I would say a lot of business decisions are made. How is that like when you say you get into a bidding war with someone else and you need to crowdfund from a home source?
Family office.
Okay, so very interesting you raise this. In America, in Europe, there are angel investors, seed investors, Series A investors, Series B, and off you go. And it's established. If you've got a great idea, write down a piece of paper.
Exactly.
You know, you can go to an angel network, crowdsourcing an angel, and potentially, if you've got a good idea and you've got a good track record, and potentially raise the money.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in Africa.
Yeah.
This is where Africa's missing.
Yeah.
So there are African venture funds, Series A, Series B funds, but venture only invests in a business that is established. It may not have revenues, but it's got a product, got a service, got a team, and
Just proof of concept.
but the angel network are people that put in $10, $20, $30, $50,000. Most people at that level are thinking, I need to pay off my mortgage, or I got to pay for my kids to go to university.
Yeah.
And they don't have that history of putting in a 50K into 20 businesses and one hits. So, AI.
Yeah.
I've met a guy, and you're going to meet him tomorrow at Paddle.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
You got to come. Come and meet him.
Okay.
Toby Hannington, Baobab Capital. I want to invest in his business, so don't put this out till he's agreed to.
Yeah.
It's coming out off the panel.
He gets 1,000 people a month coming to him and saying, I've got an idea, please invest in it.
Wow. Wow.
And his AI, he puts into the AI machine. They're going to fill out a little, you know.
Yeah.
And the AI looks at the concept, looks at if anything exists in Africa or that country,
Similar to the concept.
Wow.
competitors, corporates might be doing it, other investors that are looking at this area, bang.
Wow.
And then maybe no one's looking at it. Then it looks at his or her background,
Yeah.
the potential,
Yeah.
and it prioritizes the 1,000 deals. It says, these are the 20 you should invest in. And he puts between,
That's ridiculous.
And he-
Time.
and he puts
ridiculous.
25,000 to 50,000 in
Yeah.
those companies.
Ingenuity.
Like that.
That's
And his hit
insane.
rate is ridiculous. AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toby, let me invest.
Hey Toby, let's talk tomorrow. Let's talk tomorrow. So it's clearly that's another opportunity where you see AI cutting down time, cutting down the decision-making
Yeah.
process. Because one thing you said that was interesting is that we don't have the history of making those kind of decisions, not the capacity.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just too new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we give more people the opportunity to see the realm of possibilities, that hey, your 15,000 can
Could be.
You know.
Yeah. But here's the problem.
Okay.
And I've made it for a long
Multiple
time.
times.
You know, you like someone, you like the idea, you put in money.
Yeah.
But there's actually a model portfolio. So at the venture capital level, that's not seed, it's venture, you need to have at least 32 investments, magic number, for a third of them to blow up, a third to be the living dead,
Sheesh.
and a third
This is
to
venture.
hit.
Wow.
So if you just 2, 3, 4, you've got no
Wow,
chance.
yeah.
Unless
You're
you're
not
really
gonna
lucky.
Sheesh.
But 32. How many people are going to do 32 and manage them?
Wow.
So
So
isn't
in
that
other
interesting?
words-
So here and there, you know, chances are you're going to write that money off,
Yeah.
which I've done more times than I like.
In other words, at different levels, it's the same problems we're facing.
Correct.
Yeah, and I could
So-
lose as well.
And I've written off a lot of businesses. I've lost a lot of money on the way.
Yeah. And I like that we're going to lose, because before we started, we were talking about failure and being in love with failure.
So you learn way more from failure.
Yeah.
It's way more, you know?
Seek the failure.
So along the way, you've got to accept failure and learn from it and have a look and why did it fail? Try not to do it again.
Spend time.
Maybe you were unlucky.
Yeah.
Maybe you were too early.
Timing, yeah.
Timing, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't blame everything on timing. I did that. I used to do that. I said we were too early. Now I just say, okay.
Forever.
it's too-
In a row with too early. When is it actually
yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay, let's take it to business, guys. Clearly, you've done a lot. You failed a lot. You've learned a lot.
Yep.
All right. And at this stage, you're in at the stage of your life where you're letting things happen for you, letting things work for you, right? Let's take it back 20 years. Let's take it back 15, if you can.
Yep.
If you can.
Can.
Let's put yourself in those shoes again. At this level, you're sort of in the middle there, it's like trying to do something, right? What are the lessons and what is that one thought that's running through your mind that's keeping you going to get to here?
So I was doing too many things
Ooh.
too often. So I would have 10 meetings a day, 10 phone calls, because I thought maybe this is the one that I'll, you know. And, you know, the payback today is that I'm incredibly well connected and liked and things like
Yeah.
that. It cost me a lot of money. But, you know, I've got a massive network and I'm good at networking. But I was doing too many things and if I'd focused more on the one or two things that were building and doing well,
Yeah.
I would have been more successful.
You think so?
Yes.
Wow.
But you've got to get to a point where you actually think this has got a shot, and not then do 3 more things as well. So in retrospect, and I know what they were, I could have focused better on a few things.
Yeah.
Today, I'm much better at that. I've got 5 things, 4 of them run by great partners. I just sit back and look, and one that I'm hustling. And I'm not having every meeting where, people call me up. Could I meet? I've got a great idea. I said, well, tell me now on the phone.
Yeah. So.
And they go, here it is. I said, it's not for me, but I can introduce you to someone. Bang, 5 minutes. And I'm much better at that.
Works.
Yeah.
Please can you touch a little bit more about the power of network? Because it's something
Crucial.
that we think is everything. Networking is how we're sitting here with you today.
Yeah.
Crucial. So
Yeah.
you can get caught up in networking and go bananas. You've got to develop an instinct and a judgment of, this is a good person, this is a bad person. This person isn't just trying to sell me all the time. They're doing something interesting in their life, I should keep in touch with them. Or you run into a really cool, like you run into Adrian Gore or Yanni Durant, you go, wow.
Yeah.
And then you've got to actually say to them, I've always wanted to have a chance to call you once in the next year and ask your advice on something. May I have your number? Or something like that, and get their number, save it, keep it, and then just gently keep in touch.
Yeah.
This is where you met me, at Zuni's, with Jabu.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can ever help you. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And just build it gently over time. Don't immediately pounce on them. But keep in touch, and even write in the notes of their address, met at this place through this person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
this
have a
context.
system for that, eh?
Yeah. She's called Annette. She's been with me 30 years. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Annette.
We wouldn't be here.
That's my
without
system,
Annette.
yeah.
They say a master. Give me that quote. A master of all.
Oh,
What's his master? Give me that. Give me that.
The jack of all trades and master of none.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too true.
And then they've
Too
developed
true.
it now.
You
They say
cannot be
because it apparently
Was it
finishes.
developed through AI?
Nah, it's not through AI. Apparently, we just never knew the full quote. A master of all tastes, master of none, but something about a guy who does more is still better than that one guy. Do you share that view?
100%. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, you've got to actually focus on what you're good at and what you can do. So I spent a lot of time in the world of finance, and I was never going to be the best investment banker, best investor, best finance guy. But I actually at some point knew I knew enough to talk the talk, and then moved. Operationals, running a business. I don't have the attention to detail to be a good chief executive. I learned that painfully by losing money.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not the CEO.
Sheesh.
Africa Paddle, Mike Lum, unbelievable. But I'm good at selling and marketing and getting in front of someone and persuading them this is the thing to invest in or this is the thing to buy. And you got to try and say this is what I'm good at, or I need to be good at this. I'm going to learn enough to get to that position.
Yeah.
But you can't do everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can't do everything and you shouldn't do one thing.
yeah. And some people are actually very good at a whole raft of things, but it's actually almost better to be the best engineer in this field, the best salesperson in this field, the best networker, because then you can be huge.
What was the first thing you ever sold?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Probably myself, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that through belief in
Just
oneself?
belief, yeah,
Or like,
yeah.
Nothing red tape. Nothing red tape.
So boys, I think you're onto something. I'm happy to help you.
Yes, sir.
Tell me who you'd like to interview, But cool, man.
Is that?
I love it, man. Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
We bring you bigger and better conversation. As we have said,
Bigger and better.
Oh, the best. We're done.
we did say, guys.
We're done.
Yeah,
And as always, thank you, Posties family. The journey continues.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed